How is fatherhood serving
It's
you?
awesome. It's to all those idiotic people who always told me it's a difficult job. I just want to
Yeah.
say that it's and to the people who are looking forward to being a parent, there's not a there's not a fuller feeling that you will have. Like,
But it's not like, it's not very often that you Google yourself or you.
I'm not interesting.
What is it that keeps you so grounded?
Stardom
or
is
just
a fictional thing, yeah. The point is that it's something that you imagine in your head, and like the whole concept is, I think, flawed. Kya stardom was?
he's television's superstar, but seldom will you find a person who is not really chasing superstardom. We are talking about Barun Sokti, who never receives call. Welcome to Pink Villa. Thank you for doing this. First of all, tell me before we go on to talk about Asur, which is your next on Voot. I want to know, when was the last time you actually Googled yourself? Because I don't think you ever Google yourself at all.
नहीं ऐसा नहीं करा होगा पर ऐसे लास्ट टाइम नहीं पता कुछ बात हुई होगी जरूर.
Really?
How what happens with us is यार see people put videos and stuff online.
Yeah.
So yeah, this discussion happens with me and my wife कि यार उसने वो वाला video भी kind of thing. So I think करा होगा मतलब I think like
But it's not like, it's not very often that you Google yourself or you.
I'm not interesting.
I don't know why you say that, but I'm so sure your fans will disagree because they find you really interesting. And I think the one complaint that they obviously have with you is, why aren't you
On social media.
approachable to them? Because they miss you on screen. They have to wait for a long time to see you back on screen. And आप social media पे भी नहीं हो, so there's no way for them to reach you.
I really don't know how to answer that.
Yeah.
But the point is that I'm a select circle of people that I need to take care of. The point is I'm very busy with taking care of the ones that I've committed to taking care of. My family and my friends. So I'm a very basic person, basically. But I don't like being on social media, and obviously that makes the whole thing that I'm not approachable. But if someone was to walk up to me and say hi, I'm not the kind of person who's going to be like, shut up. I'm not that kind of a person. But at the same time, the real life that I'm living is very important.
Yeah, you want to live life.
I do.
your
I think
way,
it's only fair. मेरे को, like you said, I'm not running after things. मेरे को reality पता है अपनी, और मुझे ये पता चीजें क्या matter करती हैं life में.
Yeah, before we come to that now, I want to talk about Asur.
Yeah.
Because the last time I spoke, you said that it was a very challenging character.
Yes.
On paper, especially at that point. Now, from that to now, what has changed? What was the most exciting part to play a character?
Yeah, there was as an actor, what happens when you read the script, when you go into shoot, when you read them, and you're a little scared to do things. Asura for me didn't have any of those. What Asura had for me was everything that I wanted to check myself doing. And और मैंने बहुत ज़्यादा commit कर दिया था एक point पे. There was a very, very, very demanding sequence in the show, and I'd committed way too much to it. And everyone along with me, I remember, was so committed into the whole thing that there was not one person smiling at that time. And होने के बाद अब ये है कि I know that I did it well. There's a million ways of doing it. But there's good or bad में से I'm sure कि it was good because I know my light guys were applauding, and they were like talking about stuff like that. Everyone's adrenaline was pumping and stuff. So that's the I was excited पहले. Now I'm assured.
Yeah. Since you mentioned about your performance, how do you gauge that what you have done is good, bad, or worse for different characters? Of course.
I'll tell you how.
Yeah.
Good, bad तो लोग decide करते हैं अपना हर कोई, obviously.
No, but I think self-assurance is
Self-assurance
also.
पे I'm going. हाँ. What happens is when you read a script, you understand according to your understanding, obviously, कि ये करना ऐसे चाहिए. पर ऐसा mandatory नहीं है कि वो वैसा ही होगा उस दिन उस मिनट पे. तो जब वो नहीं होता है तो आपको पता चल जाता है कि जैसा मैंने सोचा था वो भी नहीं हो पाया. पर वो भी अच्छा लग जाता है कभी-कभी लोगों को.
So, वो तो लोगों के ऊपर है, उन्हें क्या
अपना exactly precisely पता होता है कि मैंने कर पाया कि या नहीं कर पाया. Because अपने benchmarks तुम खुद ही set करते हो ना, कोई और नहीं करता तुम्हारे लिए.
And what about criticism? Where do you get that from?
मेरे को मिलता ही नहीं ज़्यादा है.
But there must be someone you look up to कि अच्छा, this is what I have done. Please tell me, where do you think I can improve, or where do you think I was really good?
I'm not saying that I have a superiority complex or anything of that sort, but I know very well that I understand things well. और जब मैं खराब कर देता हूँ चीज़ें तो मुझे पता होता है कि हो गई खराब. every time I've seen the final product or whatever I've done or whatever, I've come back home and I've told my wife कि ये कलेश हो गया और अब ये amazing हो गया, kind of a thing. The only person I think I believe that is someone's opinion that I really without मतलब सोचे respect is my wife, of course.
Right.
So she's a very sensible person, and we're pretty much on the same page
Right.
majority of the time.
And-
She's just a little more kinder.
She'll say it very nicely to you कि अच्छा शायद यहाँ पे थोड़ा ज़्यादा अच्छा कर सकते थे. Okay, I want to understand now. What is your process like as an actor? Because you've done actually you have been very selective with your work from whatever we have seen, and everything very different. I know you'll say, "Haan, but that's the point." But then you know what happens is sometimes actors. I know so many actors who are waiting for those kind of projects to come by way. Does it get difficult to pick those?
Very
Because in television especially, there's a huge chance of getting typecast.
How do you this? I can't say a certain process or anything that's it. Like you were asking, I don't have a process. I'm a normal human being. मुझे it's like eating food for me. खाना अच्छा है या बुरा है? Simple. सबको पता होता है ना. तो कोई वो प्रोजेक्ट है अच्छा है या नहीं है, मेरे को करना है या नहीं करना है, सिंपल एज दैट. रियली ऐसा. देयर वाज नो डेलिबरेट एफर्ट दैट वेंट इनटू ब्रेकिंग एनी काइंड ऑफ रोमांटिक बॉय इमेज. व्हाट हैपेंड वाज दैट इन डेली लाइफ व्हाट वाज हैपनिंग वाज I read a lot. So I was reading books, I was watching content, and I was watching the content that I was doing, and I took the challenge and I was like कि नहीं करते हैं compromised stuff. My family backed me up. Thankfully, I did good stuff. It didn't take off very well in our country as yet, but I can vouch for it that I've done good content.
Right.
So it just went like कि okay, if you keep thinking that you're doing the right thing, that means you should stick to what you're doing, and that's what I'm sticking to. So
But
जो
how
मुझे
do
ठीक
you
लगता है.
say no to good money? Because television, and especially the kind of romantic lead and all those characters come with huge amount of money as well. How do you say no to that?
दिल पक्का है मेरा यार. And I'm not a very money-minded person.
Right. So
I've understood from the very beginning that पैसा जितना भी होता है वो enough नहीं होता.
right. And why people at your stature, whenever you decide कि आज चलो ये शो करना है मुझे television पे, people will go crazy yet again. You know, there's always that assurity, that stardom that you've received that is sustainable. It's not like कि आया और गया types. But what is it that keeps you so grounded?
Stardom
or
is a
just
fictional thing, yeah. The point is that it's something that you imagine in your head, and like the whole concept is, I think, flawed. क्या stardom? Stars are heavenly bodies. We are just human beings doing good work and bad work. Simple as that.
Right.
Would you get lucky? I think time strong होता है. You know, भगवान का concept मुझे पता नहीं तो I can't understand it. But time, I think, exists. सब time और effort पे dependent होता है.
Right.
कोई I don't think anyone's any kind of a star or anything else.
That's a very different way to look at it.
Yeah.
Now I want to know how easy or difficult it becomes when you have friends who are your co-stars as well. In terms of Riddhi right now,
Oh, awesome.
she was with you. So how difficult or easy was it to
It
have?
was awesome. It's terrific.
She told me that her first day, she just did not know how to do a scene because it's like you're friends, you're chilling.
That happens, of course. You have to see. The point is that when we're friends, और उस space में हम लोग इतने important होते हैं एक दूसरे के लिए. But when you go into an acting space, the responsibility of portraying the characters that you're portraying is so immense that you just can't think about anyone else.
Right.
So that dynamic has to be adjusted to, of course. Riddhi Adlal took some time to get that going. But it was awesome for me when you like. She knows social media very well.
Yeah.
So yesterday someone sent me a message from Woot ki they have to post this. So we were all together celebrating my wife's birthday. Like Riddhi tu baat kar liya. So it's awesome in that sense.
Yeah. And also I want to understand what has been the most difficult, because you've done film also. I remember 22 Yards when it released, it was said that it was the best film of that year.
Yeah.
You know, and then the body of work that you've done, what is that one scene or one show or one movie that you're extremely, extremely proud of? If you have to pick one, something which is extremely close to your heart.
Close to my heart has not happened with me, to be honest with you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, I'm sure. But proud of, I've done a few things in this show.
Okay.
मैं promotion के लिए नहीं बोल रहा हूँ. I mean.
No, I will take your word for it.
Yeah, where people that were watching were like कि So
Okay, yeah.
in the show there's a lot of stuff like that.
So we are waiting to watch the show then
Yeah.
finally to know what exactly you have done. In
I'm sure
the
you're
show.
gonna like it.
And lastly, before I leave you, I want to know how is fatherhood serving
It's
you?
awesome.
Because-
Man. It's to all those idiotic people who always told me it's a difficult job. I just want to
Yeah.
say that it's and to the people who are looking forward to being a parent, there's not a fuller feeling that you will have.
Has it changed your life in any way?
And there's nothing same. Nothing is the
Yeah.
same. But the point is, if you were sensible enough, you would know that nothing is going to be the same. When a child comes in, everything is going to change. The point is to go in expecting be prepared for what's going to happen instead of just thinking, maybe aisa nahi hoga. Everything that you've heard that's going to be difficult is going to happen. It's just that how prepared you are is going to help you, your wife, and your child.
Yeah, thank you so much, Varun, for talking to us, and all the very, very best for Asura. I'm sure it will be great to watch it, and we
Hopefully.
can't wait for it as well. Thank you.
Thank you. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe.